What is Connie's journey as a lover?
Well, she's had unsatisfactory sexual relationships, first pre-marriage, then of course with a man who's crippled, and then the lover that she takes, Michaelis, is too intellectual, cerebral for her, and has this extraordinary outburst against her trying to achieve her own orgasm after he's had his. And it makes her despair. She's a very kind of broken woman, really, at the beginning of the novel, and is redeemed and restored through Mellors.
For Connie, how does sex relate to love?
Well, I think there's a scene early on where Connie stands in front of the mirror and looks at herself naked, and what she sees is something very bitter, unripe, astringent, one of the words, and yeah, she's lost her gleam. Life is passing her by. Sex with Mellors restores her to life, gives her energy, and love is part of that. I mean, we might find it hard to believe in her love for a man who's of so much lower a social status, but I think Lawrence wants us to believe it, that he has something, a natural courtesy, tenderness, gentlemanliness, if you like, that earns and deserves that love.
And what's different about Mellors?
Well, Mellors is a gamekeeper. He comes from the working class, but he's sort of a natural gentleman in some way. He's tender, and that's one of the big themes of the novel, is tenderness. And kind of sexual passion, or the release and pleasure and transcendence that you get from sex is kind of at the centre of his life, and he kind of teaches her really about the body and what the body can achieve.
How well does Lawrence write about Connie's feelings, particularly her sort of orgasmic feelings?
I mean, I think Lawrence has set the agenda for how people talk about the orgasm. It's all in terms of ripples and waves and oceanic sensations, and I think it's you'd be very hard pressed as a writer now to avoid that kind of imagery. I mean, difficult for a man to imagine what a female orgasm is like, but he's very much set the agenda. Yeah, it seems now, of course, some of the writing pretty old-fashioned to us. All that stuff about loins and haunches and bowels. In fact, it would seem to some people, in its own way, quite a euphemistic novel, despite the four-letter words.
So, is it really a puritanical book?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is very puritanical. I mean, it's a bit too sermonising, actually. The novel is flawed by the fact that Lawrence bangs on just as much as he does about what sex can give people and the importance of sex. Nonetheless, if you think what he was taking on in 1928, the kind of, the inhibitions, the prudishness, the silence around the subject of sex, it's a kind of justifiable puritanism, if you like.